Haidong! In this video, we're going to talk about the application of the 3-cut. Just so we're all on the same page, right? So we start off with a nice big clear, and then we're in kenjok. So we're going to start from this kenjok, and we're going to do 3 cuts. So in the beginning, we just do 3 center cuts. And you're going to turn, and you're going to do right, left, center, or left, right, center, whatever combination is appropriate, right? Yeah, so the first application of our white belt form, right? So this is going to be the simplest. It's not going to be necessarily what we recommend. But the simplest idea is like 3 cuts, 3 kills. I just kill you, I kill you again, I kill you again. Not really interesting, not really appropriate necessarily. So obviously you're probably going to be up against someone who's a little bit more experienced than that. So again, like you might do some blocking, right? So I might come in, fall through, fall through, fall through. Makes sense. But again, like at that point, if he's able to defend, 1 cut, most likely he's going to be able to defend all the others, right? So another way you can think about this is all those 3 cuts, 3 different target areas, or 3 different uses of it. So the first one is going to be like reaching, kind of getting him out of the way. So for example, in Form 1, you just finish someone right here. I'm looking, he's there. I'm going to clear him back, back off, buddy. But notice, as I cut, I'm open. So what does he want to do? He wants to do a nice wrist strike or follow through with me. But most likely wrist, because I'm following, reaching out this way. It's very tempting. It's just like hit right there. So I'm clearing. Most likely he sees it. I'm going to do what's called a broadside. I'm going to hit side, strike wrist, and then center. So without the partner, it would be a nice big clear shot, aim for the wrist, deflect, wrist shot, and then head shot. Or you could do, again, clear, they see my wrist is open, 1, 2, or I could actually go straight in if I need to, or straight in, again, clearing the sword out of the way. So I guess one thing at this point I also like to think about is the broadside. So this is something that's not necessarily Federation as much, but something that's kind of fun, right? So I actually didn't want to move, so we'll go this way. So if you give me that center cut, so instead of doing, again, what we do, a passive block here, so passive just means I have the block out there. If he follows through, he can follow through. But I'm not really doing anything. Versus, if he's cutting me, I'm able to hit with a broadside this way, get out of the way. As he's coming in, he's much more open. I can follow him this way. Close enough, I don't have to worry about his gloves or about his sword. It's also just like, it's also maintains your forward momentum, right? If you give me that cut, 1, 2, right? So most of his momentum is going to be spent going off to the side, versus mine is all honing in towards that cut. All right, so this in terms of the broadside. So again, like the 3 major parts of this blade, right? This is the strong, meaning that this is nice for power versus power. So if he gives me that cut, this will probably stop the motion, and if he follows through, ideally, I'm not going to die, right? The middle part is like our little happy area for being able to deflect, and this is going to be our cutting and killing area. So think about using this middle part, and think about using, again, the back side, or even like the side of the sword here, where it gives you that center cut. So he's here, bang, right? If you need to, you could use the strong, but then you really have to rely on your guard to do so. So if you did give me that sword, I'm here. If I want to, I could grind in this way and do actually your previous one set. Wrap around, going this way. That's completely different. We're not going to do that in Form 1. So we're going to be using, again, the broadside to, again, manipulate his forward momentum and deflect enough for me to go in for a kill shot. Quick side note, just because this is our first video on application, make sure you're safe. I'm not going to belabor the point just because I'm assuming that you are either a master, an instructor, or someone who's working closely with your master or instructor. So at this point, I kind of expect you to kind of have a good understanding. You've been training for a good amount of time, and you're open to new ideas and ways you can kind of change the way you're thinking. So at this point, I probably don't need to go into depth about like, okay, make sure you're safe, make sure you're wearing, an excessive amount of equipment when you first train with this, And then if you feel more comfortable with it, again under your discretion, your master's discretion, whoever's in charge's discretion, maybe peel back some of the armor. But again, be particularly safe. Again, the student that I worked with today, we've been working with each other for a couple of years now. We've been using equipment that we've used before. We were using, so he was using, again, HEMA gloves, which are intended for the metal swords that were going to potentially make contact with his wrist. So we were actually pretty protected, and I didn't actually go full out and cleave his head in twain because that'd be bad, right? So again, trying to keep this pretty short, but be safe, right? So again, think about your equipment, think about your, your ability, your opponent's ability. Also, just making sure someone is available just in case something goes terribly wrong, and you need to have someone on hand to fix things up. So if you are working on an application, make sure you do it in a safe place. Pretty much all I'm going to say on that, just because, again, I'm assuming that we're all adults, right? And there was a disclaimer in the beginning of this video, but I just want to make sure everyone is doing things safely. So with that, so this is the beginning of our application series, right? This was, again, the main reason I wanted to start this video, start this channel, right? So this is the first one, so you can expect quite a few more in the future. So with that, so make sure you stay safe. So I actually said that before, so stay safe, stay humble, keep training, and now try these guys out, right? Haidong.